Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
You know what? I talk to your mayor.
Stomping the floppy shoes so hard, it'll to clutch delirious. You praying to stop so much, it's like you're having a religious experience. Despite all of your denials, I know that you know me and your crew. Ask your girl the last time she phoned me. Allegedly, just admit that even now you sing along. And even after I wreck you, you gotta bump my song. You should copyright loser because the dictionary cloned you. Crushed so hard, now my cleats own you. It's that umbrella guy, clutching the verbal hammer, locking you down in this inescapable syllable slammer. You wanna step up and try to oppose me? Yeah, you should ask anyone that really knows me. I'm take your blame, your girl, your dog, and move in your home, only to get out the verbal flamethrower and consume your plastic gnomes. You drift, you whip, you ride, your bride consumed by this mic hitter, just to drop them on the market to the highest bidder. It's that umbrella guy, live from the hat rack, with elbows that hit so hard you'll think it's a nuclear impact. I mean respecting you, please, that's the word you'll never earn. Yet another lesson you clowns have never learned. Along with standing tall and pride and repping values that you feel, and not fake morals you found inside your happy meal. I listen to you with your speaking still education, wondering if your parents bred with their relations, wearing your big red nose and still thinking that you're a star, while you're forced to bump that umbrella guy inside your clown car. Yeah, it's that umbrella guy, broadcasting live to the masses, timing out full, sorry we ran out of free passes. We gotta go further and not just expose you. Listen and believe royalty, we gotta depose you. Getting masked up because this flow is criminal, dropping hammers so hard, they're subliminal. Unconsciously you want me to own you, as the parasol pope is set to dethrone you. And I'm out.
And I'm in, actually. Man, tonight, oh my God. I don't even know how to start tonight. Oh, so much stuff. I'm at a loss for words today because of something that came up that is just so freaking insane. And I kid you not, that isn't hype, that isn't BS. There is something that is so freaking insane that, oh my Lord, I've been trying to process this for a little bit today. You know, I had a doctor's appointment today, so I was out for part of the day. While I was out, you know, did a little bit of research, sitting around, and some of the stuff. I mean, this stuff is at level like. Here, let me tease you for a second. Here, you ready for a little teasing? Just a little bit. First of all, what if I were to tell you? First of all, you may know this, right? You may know that BBB recently tried to bring on 2 quote unquote investigative reporters, right? Yeah. They did an interview, right? They tried to do a dunk on Meghan. Well, what if I were to tell you one of them, in their own words, let's say their words, their spin to it is had relations with a source. That means a person they were doing a story on. They were living with them. They weren't telling anyone else. They were living with them. They were doing articles to attack someone, because this person's supposed to be a victim. They end up getting pregnant, and suddenly they make allegations about that investigative reporter. And then suddenly they're the bad guy and they're liars. So at best case scenario, I want to talk about that a little bit. The other one, holy shit. How about what are these words here? How about wire fraud? How about $559,911 in restitution? How about 48 months prison sentence? How about allegedly wanting to frame a DA with a plot constructed where you try to get a stripper to make up a false allegation story? Holy shit, man. Oh my God. Like, holy God. How does this keep happening? And they're raising $10,000. The best thing about this all is they want $10,000 to cover it. They've already, quote unquote, talked about this story, but they want $10,000 to invest it, and people are giving them money. Holy shit, man. How is this real? Oh my God. Oh, so I don't even know where to begin today. Also, on top of that today, we have Hale. Obviously, Hale, as we know from a post, didn't show up after being subpoenaed. So that's interesting. Or how about there is the thumbnail case too? I don't know the update on this yet because it hasn't happened yet. But since we have sanction hearings, one of the people that's subpoenaed, like if you look on the docket, there's a person that they want deposed. Guess who that is? Scott Stark, the lawyer. He's on there. Yeah, you can find him on the docket. Like they best to depose him because you can with sanction hearings. Oh, we got that. We've actually got that request again. It is on the docket. We also have a fun one on BBB. You remember BBB telling the court that Randy didn't actually set aside a phone calls with him? Well, BBB filed a new item. Okay, this is the timeline I understand. And I'll show you my evidence on this, okay? This is all court docketed, all right? On the 8th, a judge says, hey, you guys need to have phone conversations, right? So on the 14th, at least for the filing date, the 14th, BBB complains and says, oh, by the way, it's supposed to happen by the 15th. So on the 14th, BBB is like, Your Honor, he refuses to have phone conversations with me. He's not having them. And the judge actually mentions this in an order on the 15th. He's basically like, yo, this better not be happening. Well, a day ago, Bruce files something. He files on the where they're arguing back and forth about what evidence they're going to overturn or they're going to turn over rather. And he says on the 9th, so that the day after, there was actually a 90-minute phone conversation. So in his own court documents, his own complaints, he's wrecked himself with his own filing. He lied. And we'll read that together today. I don't know where to begin today. It's like an all-I-can-eat buffet. Oh, man. I mean, whoa. Oh, my God, dude. Oh, Lord. Okay, so let's pick a starting point. By the way, if you like this content and you enjoy it and you would like to help out this channel, let's start with the share and tell people we're live, because people should know that we're live. Also, on top of that, let's see, you could like, and if you'd like to go further, you would like to help out this wonderful show because you're like, man, I love having this in my life. Yeah, maybe you should think about ye old breadsticks. I mean, them breadsticks, delicious. Now, I actually have, I wanted to pull a transcript from something. I think I'll start with investigative. Now, first, I'm going to preface this by saying something. I'm going to preface this by saying that there are people out there now that are requesting $10,000. No shit. Got to GoFundMe or whatever the equivalent is to cover this case. $10,000. $300 a video is what it breaks down. Okay. They put this up. They want $10,000. Now you tell me. Do you think, by the way, that wouldn't be a weird thing, right? You're already commenting on a case. And the stuff, I saw their initial comments. For example, there were comments about signs. There were some comments about an expert too. Now you can tell they don't know anything about this case at all. They have no idea. The expert there, the expert, like many folks apparently tied to this, is somebody that, well, they go into a courtroom, it would be laughed out of existence. The so-called expert with the signs that they have there. Yeah, you know all about that, but just in case you don't, let me say this, okay? I'll do a little bit of a favor for the folks out there that have decided to hitch their wagon. You would think, by the way, this would have been the moment BBB and others would have done their research. They went out and got the best handwriting expert ever. Why? How do they decide that? Well, that's because the guy says so. When you look into this guy wrote out some crazy nonsense, including that Jeremy Hales allegedly was writing signs himself. Now, this seems to be a narrative that these people that want the 10K, they seem to want to adopt. Now, they need to understand where that came from. That came from a guy that also says your handwriting analysis can tell you if, he said in a news report that he could tell that somebody had trauma in their life when they were 12 years old. How would you do that with handwriting? Not that you've experienced trauma. But you experienced trauma at a specific time in your life. How would you know that? Well, it just knows. They also seem to imply there, now maybe they typo on something, but they seem to think that the signs are about racism. That's not an accusation of racism. That's an accusation of art, by the way. And there's no proof that the signs were ever shown. There are pictures of them. Review the docket. It's pretty fascinating stuff. They also seem to like the accusations of, the easy one that Bruce has linked into, which is anti-Semitism. They seem to enjoy that. So let's talk about these wonderful folks. Now, there was an interview the other night with a man named Michael Volpe. I will not be using his name a lot, but I don't want there to be any confusion about who I'm talking about, okay? Because there seems to be confusion. I'm not giving these people a lot of time. I just figure, if people are giving lots of money, know who you're giving money to. So the guy actually had some things to say. He did an interview, all right? And in this interview, this is actually a transcript of some of what was said. These are his words. I want to stress this to you. These are not things that I've found somewhere. They're not innuendo. These are his words while he's talking to the anti-what-the-hales ecosystem. And they weren't like, holy shit, this is bad. Oh, no, they fundraised for this person. Okay, so listen to this. I was completely wrong about that woman, except before I was figuring out I was wrong. I got her pregnant. And after the relationship disintegrated, she sent me again a very nasty email where she accused me of all these bad things, of me being physically violent, and well, my goodness, like directly attacked like the brand that I had built up, right? So at the time, it was very difficult because my ex was so crazy. Now, this brings up Megan Fox, too, because the connection here, they tried to connect. This is a person that, well, Megan, she was nice enough to walk away from quietly and not nuke. And they repaid that favor by trying to fucking attack her repeatedly and that kind of stuff. She's been nice enough to be quiet about it, but I'm not going to fucking be quiet about it. Okay. I heard this myself. All right. So I want you to drink this in. Okay. So at the time, see who the ex is. All right. This is important here. All right. At the time, it was very difficult, but my ex was so crazy. I wasn't sure if she was pregnant. So I was trying to figure out if she was. And here, she's also trying to ruin my professional relationship with Megan. And Megan called me and we talked about it. And she backed me up 100%. Now, in quote unquote backing up, essentially, she's doing something that, like for myself, I figured this out in a recent case. If I have proximity, if I'm close to something, I cannot see it. I cannot understand it, and I can't cover it. Not well. I can try, but I can't remove myself from something. So she tells this person, I think it's a private matter. I'm erasing an email that was sent. You don't have to explain anything to me. I'm sorry. This is his words. Again, his way of spinning this. All right. And I think you're about to become one of your stories. So Megan tells him, I think you're about to become one of the stories that you covered. But she doesn't make him one. And she's returned for this friendship. Yeah, to be attacked repeatedly. Okay. Now, and that's actually what happened. And Megan, now listen to this, could have felt betrayed because I was covering the story where I was living with her. So the person that he's sleeping with now, some people have used this word source, but really the things that they cover here, he's talking about this person as a victim. That would mean that while he's living with this woman, having relationships and not disclosing it, while he's covering this story, he's attacking a person and trying to destroy them. All right. And he didn't tell Meg. He says, I didn't tell her. And that was something that she probably should have known instead of, and if she felt betrayed and went after me, I would have survived. But it would have made a very difficult time, much more difficult than it already was. And she didn't. And that's why I didn't want to cover this story, because I would never not go at something like this. But I thought she had earned like my deference. And I'm still not completely sure it should be, because despite the way she acted, by the way, what did Megan do that was terrible? Megan Fox thought this dude, I guess, was a friend. Or at least somebody, in the past, she's like, BBB has harassed me and tried to ruin me. If you're going to do this shit to me, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to come on your show. I don't want to do any of that. Leave me alone. Like, but this guy, he's telling you, now break this down here. He's telling you again. He is living with a woman, having relationships with a woman that is a quote unquote victim. At least that is the narrative at the beginning. She's not a source. She is the story. So a platform is being utilized and it's not being disclosed that you're having this relationship and you're using this platform to attack somebody. Now that's exploitive. That's exploitive as fuck. It could be exploitive either. This person, they end up getting pregnant. Afterwards, after the pregnancy, they make accusations about this guy. And suddenly, the person that they had been living with, the person that they had been attacking people for, the one they were having relationships with, that person suddenly isn't a victim. They're a false accuser. Now, again, I don't know anything about the lady or anything else. I'm not saying she isn't a false accuser. I'm saying that before that guy pointed at him, it was totally different. Not disclosing. Is that journalistic integrity? Is that what you're paying 10 grand for? Holy shit, man. Holy shit. Now, that's one thing. That's pretty nasty. That's pretty bad stuff, don't you say? I mean, that's some craziness. And again, Megan walks away from this stuff. You don't know how people are. You don't know what they've been up to. But she decides she's gonna walk away from it. And she doesn't, again, you can't look at that situation when you're there in the moment and be neutral. You know, there's a real conflict, but I'm sure that was a betrayal. I'm sure that had to be. But that is a messed up situation. Again, that was just gloss over, but that was part of the interview. Okay? Then we have the other guy that was attached to this that, well, there's an entire case amount and it is something else. There's some really interesting highlights, like the defendant abused his status as a lawyer and conspired to commit fraud and extortion. He, together with others, now this is not full pay. This is another person. Okay, just to make this clear, I don't want there to be confusion on that. But he abused his status as a lawyer and conspired to commit fraud and extortion. He, together with others, devised a scheme to defraud export companies purchasing scrap metal for shipment to foreign customers, and then organized a scheme to extort a co-conspirator. While on pretrial release following his arrest, he also engaged in witness tampering and provided evidence to third parties in violation of a court order. Now, following a forensic mental health evaluation, the defendant pled guilty to wire fraud conspiracy, collection of credit conspiracy, and although he was remorseful of his conduct in alcohol and drug abuse recovery, his crimes were absurd, bizarre, and ruthless. The defendant was incarcerated for 48 months, followed by 3 years supervised release. Huh. Fascinating. Now, some of the stuff in here, I mean, it is something. It is like an entire live stream of something. Oh, man. Like I said, I don't even know what to say with it. I mean, we were talking about, so the restitution on this, again, I wrote down the number because it's like, holy crap. The restitution on this was $559,911.26. That's what one of the reports said on that. That's a lot of money. That's not again, not only that, but these are people you're giving money to, you know? That's some big time numbers. We're also talking about a lawyer that, well, they don't get to practice law anymore. He used his status as a lawyer to give an air of legitimacy to a serious, fraudulent scrap metal scheme. His law license was the recruitment tool that allowed him and his co-conspirators to take advantage of a disabled individual. Where have we heard those words before? Disabled individual. So they take advantage of a disabled individual to perpetuate the fraud. Unsatisfied by traditional methods of debt collecting, he used threats of violence to collect a large debt purportedly owed by a co-conspirator. Yeah, that part right there is pretty crazy too. Threats of violence to collect a large debt purportedly owned by a co-conspirator. That's right, fun times, right? Again, there's a lot more to this too. I'm just giving you a few highlights. Some of my favorites. One of my favorites too. This was one of mine too. He also became involved in politics after he returned to New York. He's facing state law criminal charges related to his involvement, including for allegedly trying to pay an exotic dancer to falsely report a sexual assault by a Staten Island DA in an effort to disparage and sway an election. Huh. That's that's something, right? Holy God. I'm going to tell you, any mofo with a record like that, any of these people with this stuff, better not step to me. Fuck that noise. That is not legit. But giving money, are you kidding me? Are you freaking, do you not do 5 minutes of due diligence? Oh my God. And there's a lot more. I mean, there's some really interesting parts. The threats of violence, though. I don't know what to think about some of this stuff. Other than, wow, why? What? I mean, again, these people, they're the same people that wanted to throw out the fact that I've filed bankruptcy twice. Again, as I said, when my father, when he was sick, is my stepfather, but still, my father. So when he got sick, we found out this crazy thing. We found out that your medical insurance tops out at a certain level. If you have the best medical, this is something maybe you don't know if you live in the United States, that your medical insurance has a lifetime payout. That's right. You can still get operation stuff, but you got to figure out how to pay for it. So I maxed out student loan. I still have a lot of that money on me because of that. But I maxed out all kinds of other stuff too. And you know what? I do it again today. I do it in a heartbeat. And that is not criminal. That is something you yourself find. Many, many people end up doing that. If you want to be like, oh my God, credit cards? Oh no. But then they don't do their due diligence and they bring in stuff like, how? Why? And they allow people to fundraise off of this stuff. Whew, man. Anyway, I just wanted to point that stuff out. And I wanted to note again, it did irritate me to hear, what I heard about Megan Fox during all of that stuff? She was actually a decent friend to somebody there. She was actually decent to them. She didn't, they noted, again, in that stream, they noted that she could have ruined them, but she didn't. And then they talk about private messages and what the fuck, dude? I was staggered by what I heard in that interview because, again, there's a spin to it, but like he said, that is career ruinous kind of stuff. The vulva, that is, holy crap. I mean, that is something else. But it was just glossed over like it was no big deal. You would think that somebody, again, you would think that people would do their due diligence and say, oh, we're not talking again. I'm not dealing in innuendo or if you've been online long enough, somebody's going to say some crazy shit about you. If you've advocated for anything, sure, I get that. But these aren't things I read online. These are words he himself talked about. And the others, I was just like, what the shit, man? But there's a GoFundMe out there right now. Attempting to raise $10,000. $10,000 for them to cover this story. Every $300 that they hit as a goal, they will bring up something else. Now, that is a giant red flag. That's crazy. I've never, again, if you like my platform and you want to support what I do, you see what I do. You see what I talk about, and you decide there and then. But I've already done my due diligence, and I'm not telling you that it comes with a price tag. I do what I do because I do it, because I feel compelled to talk about it. But I've never taken money. And I could not imagine going to someone, if I thought that someone was a victim. Like, for example, I could not imagine approaching Jeremy Hales and being like, yo, dude, you got to pay me to do that. No, I cannot imagine, dude. My conscience could not abide that. And then to say, after doing that and soliciting money from this one-sided thing, that you're going to cover things in a fair and balanced way. Really? That's interesting, considering, again, these folks seem to have strapped on to the claims like BBB talking about anti-Semitism. They seem to have grasped onto that really, really quickly. They seem to have, again, grasped onto the idea that signs were written by Hales. They haven't asked any real questions, any pertinent questions. They haven't done background, like real background. It sounds like yet more rent for hire, more ridiculousness. I wanted to drop that on you. If I need to go in depth on that, I can. We can, but I don't want to spend all my time talking about these folks. I figure, that in and of itself is a mic drop. If I have to, if I really need to get in depth about that, I can. But I don't see why at that point that shouldn't be a giant question mark. Like, that should have been the biggest mic drop you need for that. Now, along with this, there have been some, and one of the things I've hated seeing is with Megan, she's had some real conflicting. I mean, again, she's looking at somebody that I would say, again, she's not sitting around like talking about this person to me a lot or anything. Like, that's not her thing. Like one of the things I like about her is that she has maintained positive relationships even with people that she distanced herself from. She doesn't tell you about this stuff. She didn't burn this person. I found this out from them, from that person, not from, even though she's under attack with it. I didn't find this out from her. Because even while she's under attack here, somebody, she kept decorum and decency with it, but they didn't return that favor. And that bothers me. I find that really nasty. I don't find it surprising, but I find it nasty. I mean, that is the unfortunate state of dealing with a lot of stuff in this sphere. That's why a lot of times, like, if you want to communicate or reach out or whatever, and if I seem standoffish and I don't mean to be, but if you write me and I'm not very chatty, if I respond and I only respond with short statements, it's because we've all dealt with stuff like that. And it makes you very trigger shy about dealing with any human being out there, because it doesn't matter how decent you are to people. There are people out there that will try to ruin you, and it doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter how good of a friend or how you tried to be. I mean, sometimes the most decent that you can show somebody, it's returned with absolute and utter garbage. Now, let's see. What do you want to hear next? Would you like here? Let me. I lost my chat window. So we got 3 things that I really want to cover here. Give me a second. I got to pull you up again, chat. I'm sorry. My chat thing closed out. It'll take me just a second because I want to ask you this. We have 3 things that we can cover next. All right, 3 things. Now, out of this. Yeah, no. Okay, friend. Somebody's confused about this. Again, I'm going to clarify this. The woman that Volpe lived with was a source, a victim. Okay, that's who you're talking about in that. Again, he makes it clear. A source he was covering. If there is any confusion on that. So, yeah, imagine it would be like this. Let me give you a scenario here, make it easily digestible and understandable. Say I started covering a story about a person out there, right? And I was like, this person is a victim of that person over there. That person over there is a monster. And I went after them repeatedly, right? I covered this story. I didn't, however, disclose to the world that this person was living with me. I didn't tell a person that I would appear with. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell them that I was having relations, that I am not a neutral arbiter of fact in this. I have no integrity or decency in that. I'm just, you imagine that, right? Okay. Then that person you're with gets pregnant. They make accusations about you. And suddenly, when the accusations come, they're no longer a victim. Now they're a false accuser. And there's more to that, too. From what I'm looking at, there's more. But I'm just going with what they said. Okay. Now, you imagine, are all those attacks there that you were doing on somebody? You were doing it while shacked up with someone whom, again, you say later on is a liar. Did you create another victim? On top of that, if the person was a victim, they had gone through all of this stuff, and they're at a point where they're emotionally stunted or damaged. Could you imagine that too? Could you imagine like the mental state they may be in? I mean, you can see that this branches out into many, many, many problems. And like I said, this is just glossed over. And he brought it up himself. And that's how I found out about it. He didn't bring it up, though. He didn't bring it up back when it happened. He brought it up now, so I guess he can move forward. And sooner or later, it'd probably be found. And I thought that was like the craziest thing. And then I found the other thing about someone else, and I found out that, oh, well, yeah, convicted of. Again, the other one, wire fraud. Hey, much more. I mean, again. We talked a lot about scammers, and I think, again, that's a giant red flag. All right, so what do you want to talk about next? Do you want to talk, here, I'm going to give you 1, 2, and 3. Listen to all your options, okay? Number 1, we can talk about BBB and his epic screw-up in his own court documents. Or we can talk about 2L actually not showing up because, well, there was a posting about that. I'm going to say that she was subpoenaed. She didn't show up. Or number 3, we can talk about the thumbnail litigation, what's on the docket there, talking about how Scott Stark, the lawyer, there's been a request to depose him, which you can in sanctions. You can actually try to do that. You can do that. Pick your poison, baby. Pick your poison. Fun times. There's so much goodness, though. So much goodness. There's some 2s. There's a lot of 2s. Okay. Let's talk about 2. Let's do that here. Right. So you might have seen a certain post today. This was actually a interesting one I want to pull up for you. Okay. There was a wonderful there was a wonderful screenshot of this. Let me just read this to you, okay? What the hell's? Well, isn't this awkward? She told everybody how she was going to handle the lawyer in a depot, but now a no-show. And that's true. I mean, there was bragging. Remember all the bragging and stuff? Oh man, if they try to call me into the courtroom, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna show them, right? You remember all the bragging, all the chest pounding and more? I'm sure all of you remember that, right? Only to then turn around and to try a game where this is fascinating to me. When I look at the Mr. Shockett, I will not be appearing thing. There was a game here of subpoena. You didn't subpoena me correctly. You didn't do this. You did. I don't believe I was validly. Well, you're admitting that you got it and you knew about a court date. You admitted it in an email. You talked about it on freaking streams. Oh my God. I mean, holy crap. I mean, you're telling the lawyers out there, I'm not going to be there. I know I'm supposed to be, but I'm not going to be there. I don't think I was served correct. Well, you obviously know about the damn thing. You obviously know that they made efforts too. So that's not good. That's a bad admission. Okay, so side note, well, Florida law is 7 days. 7 days, huh? She's wrong again. She was legally served. Refusing service doesn't qualify for a legal service, and that is indeed correct. You refusing to accept service does not mean that you weren't served. That is not invalid. And again, they know exactly what it was about too. They did the stupidest thing you could do. They went out and they bragged about it. They talked about it. So again, to pretend like, oh, well, you know, I have this reason for it. I didn't get it. I didn't get this properly. But to go on and again, brag about it, brag about how you're going to be a no-show and more. Oh man. I love life some days. Oh my God. This is the kind of stuff that makes me feel. Oh my goodness. The judge can hold her in contempt and rule for sanctions. And that is indeed true. I'm sure, again, I don't know the next move. I'm not sure. But what you typically have is you have a lawyer file because a person, they're refusing to show up. You file about that. You can actually ask for sanctions in that. You can ask for somebody They can be held in contempt. You can also, again, you can be like, yo, not only did that, but they wrote me, they bragged about this more. So, dear Mr. Shockett, here's a wonderful little note here. Dear Mr. Shockett, I will not be appearing tomorrow. I will not appear. I shall not show up. I will not be there. Making it very clear, I am not going to attend. Rule 45 gives 14-day minimal time for compliance. Now, again, you think of everything that they have been wrong about. Here's the thing. I have the feeling that there is somebody that is telling them repeatedly what they think the law states. But when you're thinking about this, how many times have they been wrong? Again, this lawyer that has been giving advice, or I'm thinking they have anyway, they can correct that if I'm wrong. But the one that I would think would be saying this kind of stuff couldn't even figure out what court they were in. They filed to move to Gainesville, and a judge had to be like, yo, you're still in Gainesville. Like, maybe I would get another opinion or 5 opinions, or maybe I'd just comply again. Maybe I would comply. Plus, I don't believe I was validly served. Again, I don't know how you can go out and how you can claim that you weren't validly served while writing this letter and saying, I know about this. There was service, but... And again, talk about it on live streams. I don't know how you think that works out. Maybe it's just me. Man, that is so ridiculous there. That is so ridiculous. Furthermore, you're doing this to harass me. I'm not even a defendant, so there is no point except harassment. Lisa Lee. So one of 2L, again, you have a subpoena. They decide, oh, not going to obey the subpoena because reasons that I say. I don't think it was valid. I'm not going to come in, even though further, I believe you're doing this to harass me. I'm not even a defendant, so there's no point except harass. Well, at the end of the day, I think there are a lot of questions this person could be asked about what they know, their involvement, how far these damages have gone. Remember, there are 2 things that are being discussed here. Their involvement in this, even if they are not on, this is a co-conspirator. There's still somebody with a lot of information. And if items were invalid, there was nothing to ask about there. Well, I mean, we could say, I could think of quite a few questions that you could ask that would definitely be pertinent to the 16 pages and the 2 people. I think it would be definitely pertinent. But again, playing chicken with a court is not a smart move. It's a very dumb move. I don't understand why you would think that this would be a smart move. Yes, witness deposition is a thing. Was Shara, here's a question. Was Shara a party in this lawsuit? I mean, legitimate question. Is Shara a plaintiff or a defendant? I mean, I think that's a very easy way to talk about witness depo. If we're going to discuss witness depo. Was Shara a plaintiff? No. Shara a defendant? No. Shara has, however, been deposed in this case. So, I mean, when we're talking about that, it's a witness, you know? They misread Rule 45. They misread so many rules. How many rules have we gone over by now? That when we look at it and we read the rule together, their interpretation of a rule, it's been, you've been like, wait, what are they talking about? I mean, how many items? Rule 45, by the way, is the subpoena in rules. So when you go through and you read them over, you can look at exactly how subpoenaing works and is governed. There's all kinds of little items, ins and outs through that. But on top of it, again, you don't think here's an interesting question. Who do you think knows the law better? Do you think 2L1 understands the law better, or maybe Randy, a guy who has been doing this type of work for a hot minute now? Do you think maybe he knows the ins and outs, like what your time is for compliance and how that works? And again, it's a high stakes game of chicken. Because again, it wasn't just this statement here. It's been live stream statements. Instead of going with, oh, there's confusion on something or anything, or asking about something. No. It's been live streamed responses saying that I will not comply with a court. Unfortunately, I've had to deal with a court before, again, in my own personal issue. And when I did, the one thing that I do, one thing that a lawyer will tell you is to comply. You comply. Even if you don't like it, you comply. Because ultimately, a judge has a lot of authority. They not only control the matter in front of you, but they control many other factors as well. And yeah, that is not a game of chicken that I would want to play. I mean, would you? So I thought this was fascinating. We don't know how this will turn out, but they made it clear that they're not showing up. They're not going to be. They're not there. So there you have it. They made it very clear. Oh man, what a day. What a freaking day. Now I'm sure there will be a live stream about it. When there is too, I'm sure they will make dumb statements they probably shouldn't make. And bravo. Bravo. What a performance. What a dance. What a dance indeed. I mean, when you watch this dance, it's... Let me show you something else today, okay? This is one that I wanted to bring up the other day, but in all of the other insanity that was going on, I totally spaced it. I thought this one will be funny, and we'll see how this plays out, okay? So, thumbnail lawsuit, right? Give me 1 minute. Thumbnail lawsuit. There it is. So I want to show you something else that's been on the docket here. Now, as you know, there's a motion for sanctions, right? You know, the one that is totally a conspiracy, that's not a conspiracy. We've been told over and over again it's not real. It's somehow not real, even though it's there on the docket. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see if I've got that pulled up right here, actually. Yeah, this thing. Okay. So here we go. Check this out. Now, you remember this. I'm drawing you a picture, okay? So you remember this. Remember the hearing, that notice of hearing. We're talking about, again, a motion for sanctions. Now, as part of a motion for sanctions, you have some interesting things that you can do. One of them, well, again, showed up on the docket. Let's check this one out, because this is less party. Here, let's see. Give me 1 second. Now, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Again, you have to excuse me. Usually I have these set up like where I can easily access them over and over again. You know, I plan it a little bit. So notice this here. So this is in the matter of, and you can always tell what matter this is because of the players involved, right? Here we have the thumbnail matter. How can you tell, by the way, if you're wondering how to keep track of all of these insane things? Well, all you got to do is look at the players, because when you see Larry Foreman and DJ Radis added to one, that's thumbnail litigation, right? Or even though, again, you know where we're at, you know, that's been dismissed voluntarily without prejudice. If you have the Trespass 5 come out, of course, Granger, you know, again, you can keep up with stuff. Well, if you notice, here, this house, notice of taking audio, visual / Zoom deposition. Please take notice that the undersigned counsel will take the deposition of Scott Stark. Oh boy. Oh boy. Holy mama. Wish to take the deposition of Scott Stark. If you don't know who that is, by the way, that is the lawyer that BBB recruited into this. Now, I'm imagining Scott Stark right now is thinking, holy crap, what have I gotten myself into? I mean, you think about that. Like, what? Can you imagine the pitch? I imagine it, the recruiting. Oh, we got this easy to win case. Oh, get a little of that grub. Get a little of that grub hub on your nub. You know, get you a little bit of that moolah. Be easy. They'll probably settle with you, you know, cut and dry. And it's not, by the way. Again, it was a garbage lawsuit, and they understood that. Unfortunately for them, they waited a tad too long to come to that conclusion. So again, we're looking down a motion for sanctions. Now in this, you know, let's read. Now there's a 3 pages to this. Now there was a Schedule A, all right, a question on there. Now this is what they were going to ask to bring with you. You know, they always have again, kind of what they're looking for. And this was the other item that was attached to this, or the other page. Well, actually, they're 3 pages, but you know, there's signature pages, blah, 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 blah. But this is on there. Schedule A, what do they want? All documents which support the claim made by you on behalf of your client via the complaint in this case. So, again, read that. All documents. What exactly? Like, what do you have that supports your claims that are made by you? Now, the term document, it's a broad document. That means any type of communication. It's, again, I'm just going to read this to you. I'm not going to read everything, but it gives you the idea. The term document or document, uppercase, lowercase, shall be construed extremely broadly to mean all tangible things of every nature that contain information, including but not limited to correspondence, communications, writings of every kind, hieroglyphics. It does not say hieroglyphics, but your Rosetta Stone. Drawing, graphs, charts, agreements, contracts, analysis, appointment records, diaries, diagrams, drafts, financial statements. Again, any item out there, and all other data compilations from which information can be obtained or translated through detection devices or otherwise into reasonably usable form, including all such items in the possession, custody, or control of any of your directors, any of your employees, or any of your agents, wherever they're located. How does BBB work in there? BBB, are you an agent? And by the way, are you the director of this? How do you work? See, we know BBB was all over this thing. His name is not on it, but fascinatingly enough, we know that he was all over this fucking case. And I bet old Scott Starkey's sitting there thinking, oh my God, what in the world? I mean, again, to be a fly on that wall. To be a fly on that wall. I just think it's fascinating. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure it will be entertaining. No matter how that turns out, that will be very entertaining too. Now, you have to bear with me just a moment. I want to make sure I get everything in the order that I want. There were a few documents that relate to something. I'm trying to pull them all up here. Give me a second here. Okay, so you remember the January 8th issuance of, just to say, I'm going to point this out. I'm going to start this off with a little bang there. Okay, so January the 8th, a judge says that there are filings that are disputing again what should be turned over as evidence. Right? I'm sure you remember that. It's where BBB was saying, hey, I'm not going to turn over. And again, there's a new document that's talking about what has been turned over. We may go over that tomorrow. I don't know if I want to go over that today with everything else. I just want to go over and make this point. But on the 8th, the judge says, you guys, you got to communicate. You got to communicate by phone. All right? You got to communicate by phone. This has to be done by the 15th. All right. Now, BBB files this. He says, and you see the filing date for that, filed the 14th. Plaintiff's counsel adamantly refuses, this is again talking about Randy, any phone communication, including any additional calls in furtherance of narrowing issues raised in plaintiff's motion to compel. So he's saying, you notice that word there. It's an important factor because I know how slimy BBB is about this stuff. Okay. When he's cornered, he likes to say, oh, no, I meant something else. But you notice this, any phone communication. So he's saying he will not have phone communications with me. He won't talk to me on the phone whatsoever. I mean, you say that's pretty clear, right? Let me ask you, is there any confusion whatsoever on what that means? Does that mean all? Any? That's all, correct? I mean, do you agree with that? I want to make sure that you're on the same page with me here. This is BBB adamantly stating that Randy does not communicate on the phone with him. He refuses to, right? That's what that says, right? Because that's how the judge is going to take this. And again, I'm just imagining how, slithery this will be later on. But I want to make sure that you agree with that. Oh, man. Give me 1 second. Gotta grab something here. Okay. I'm building a point here, okay? It's epic. It'll have a great payoff. You'll love it. Now, the judge, you can tell, takes it the way I took it. Because the judge, give me a second here. I'm going to pull up this this item. 1 minute. Oh, that's the wrong one. Here it is. Okay, so the judge orders he puts out his Gainesville document, let's say. Remember the one I was talking about where they narrow, where they try to get them put into to Gainesville? You remember that? You know, if you don't, again, BBB files and says, hey, I want everything moved to a place that's better for us. We'd like it to be moved to Gainesville. And the judge comes back and is like, yeah, you're in Gainesville. That's where we are. This federal court. You know, we divide by districts. 25% of cases come here. This is still Gainesville. So all of it is. Okay, well, he also puts something down here. You can see this in the footnotes, all right? Defendant's motion. This is talking about what I discussed with the adamantly refuses any, indicates plaintiff's counsel has refused to confer over the phone in an effort to narrow the issues raised in pending motion to compel. That had better not be the case, considering the court has specifically ordered counsel to confer by telephone regarding the issues raised in the motion to compel. Okay, so when you read that, let me just make sure we're on the same page there. Again, let's drink it in one more time. All right, just for anybody out there that's confused on this, right? Defendant's motion, BBB, indicates that plaintiff's counsel, that would be again Randy, refuses to confer over the phone in an effort to narrow these issues raised in pending motion to compel. Now that, would you agree that the judge is looking at this because he says that better not be the case, considering I said the court specifically ordered counsel to confer by telephone. So he's taking this as there is no phone communication, right? I mean, would you agree with that? Like I said, I want to make sure we're all on the same page because this has a real payoff. And it's all BBB. I mean, when you look at that, that is the court saying, yeah, you better not be doing that, son. You better not be refusing to communicate with this person. Okay. All right. Now, we had a filing that came up talking about it. Again, it was, give me 1 second here. This is a new BBB filing that actually came up over all of this said thing. This filing is, we have not gone over it yet. It's a brand new filing, but it talks about evidence and stuff too, which will be an interesting one to read. But it's the report of 7.1b conference and related efforts to narrow issues in response to plaintiff's motion to compel. All right. So now the report of conference and efforts to narrow issues. This isn't the whole doc. This is a screenshot for you. Okay. Upon issuance of order Doc 53 to hold a live/phone conference. So after that happened, conference was scheduled for January the 9th at 10 a.m. Okay, so they scheduled a conference. There's actually one that was scheduled. It was scheduled right after that, yeah? Counsel conferred on the phone for 90 minutes. What? Wait. What? They talked on the phone. Not only did they talk on the phone, but they talked on the phone for 90 minutes? An hour and a half, you say? So that would mean that this idea that we were told, again, you see that, like I said, I'm going to drill this in. This here, this is right after the order. BBB, after this, again, a few days later, even though he knows that this has happened here, he's 100% aware that this has taken place, files this here, right, this one right here. Again, plaintiff's counsel adamantly refuses any phone communication. How do you talk for 90 minutes and still not have phone communication? How do you talk by phone for 90 minutes? You can't. That makes this a lie, right? And again, the judge commented on it. You can't have both. These are BBB's own filings. So BBB took a wrecking ball to his own thing and showed the court. The court paid attention to it. The court actually paid attention to what he had to say. They commented on it in an order. And it was pretty blunt. When I read it, I was like, woo, man, I hope that conversation actually did happen. Because I was like, surely Randy is having communications. I mean, he's not going to go out and shirk a court order. There's no way that's not happening. But it isn't Randy that points this out. This is BBB pointing it out. Now, I would say that this is a big issue because this is busted big time. You're busted in the court. You are busted in the your own documents. You rely. Now, again, I know the BBB spin. I know there will be some kind of weird spin to this. It'll be just like, what was it? Let me pull the exact. I don't like getting the wrong words. So let me make sure that I get the right words. Remember with the veteran nation thing. Remember, I'm not trying to cancel channels. Quote, nor am I trying to have YouTube channels shut down. Writing one letter reporting Veteran Nation's PR stunt and asking that they shut his channel down for it is hardly trying to shut him down. Wait, what? It's the same thing. It's weird. It's baffling. But that's the kind of filings that we get. So I'm sure that we will get some kind of weird spin to this stuff. But oh my God, is that not crazy? I cannot believe some of the stuff that I read in this. And again, other people, somebody else, I noticed that and I was like, holy crap. And I started pulling, and somebody else mailed screenshots like that right on the same here. I don't know if you want me to say who you were, but I want to give you love out there. You know who I'm talking about. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you that do this kind of stuff. Appreciate folks, again, like Max Lab that send out. Who said that? BBB? Yeah. BBB talking about Veteran Nation. Yeah. That was in an email to me and to Megan. That was his own words there. Yeah. That was one of his wonderful letters. I'm not trying to shut down. And again, we didn't just have that. Remember in the, there's other proof that he actually was doing that, by the way. One of the Shara videos has him talking about that stuff too. I mean, it's astounding though. When I look at this, this is one of the craziest freaking cases I've seen in a while. I've seen some crazy ones. I've been amazed by a few. But at the same time, I've never seen anything. Remember, we have, let me see. I'm trying to find that one about Veteran Nation too. Remember with Shara, we found out behind the scenes as well about the Veteran Nation thing. We found this too. There was the excellent I want to encourage people to report Veteran Nation's video and get the channel shut down. So remember, I mean, we have the denial of things that there's evidence that happens all the time. So I expect some kind of weird spin for this too. I just wait. I'm buckling up. You know, that's the other thing. You know, when people talk about buckle up, I think, yeah, buckle up in the way it was intended. Buckle up, because man, this is going to be a crazy ride. But on top of it, I think buckle up, because you're going to get whiplash from all the spin that you're going to see involved in this stuff too, because there is some insane spin that keeps coming up over and over again. I'm now, like I said, there's a new filing too that actually talks about the evidence and everything else. It's the filing that screenshot comes from. But I don't want to clutter things, as it were. I want this to be, again, there's so much to digest out of this. Here's the Volpe mess. There's that other dude. Then there's, on top of it, there's the subpoena issue. Oh, on top of that, you have the Scott Stark item that's right around the corner. And you have this. That's quite a bit for one day. Don't you agree? Are you not entertained today? I'm feeling very entertained. Are you not entertained? Because I certainly have been entertained. Are you not entertained, people? Are you not entertained? Now, I do have a wonder, like going back to the first subject just for a second, okay? The only thing that I do have a reservation with is I do feel like some of these folks are potentially dangerous. I think when I read a document, again, a court order talking about a person, and in the court order, in the case details, you know, when it's being discussed, when it talks about somebody not only participating in scams, not only doing, like I said, horrible stuff, but them going and them, the court, just again to say on this stuff, the court seemed to think, holy crap, some of the stuff that went on in this is absolutely insane. Sentencing hearings, again, we can always get into that stuff if we need to. I'm sure there will be talk and spin on this as well. But I do worry about safety sometimes. Because you're dealing with people that I think, how are some of these people not dangerous? How are they not? And I fully expect character assassination and other things, because you talk about this, but I fully expected it before that. But I will not accept character assassinations for people of not low, but no character. I will not accept it. And I do not understand how so many people can be built into giving money to some of this madness either. Like, what do you have to see before you have reservation about giving your hard-earned money? Like, people are doing no due diligence whatsoever. I mean, the sentencing stuff. When somebody talks about your crimes being bizarre and ruthless, when they say that you use threats of violence to collect a legal debt purportedly owed by a co-conspirator, threats of violence, when I've already seen threats of violence by other people, it blows my mind. I mean, Jeremy Hales, again, he is facing an onslaught like I have never seen. At this point, a lot of people will walk away from a case. Like if they're in the investigative journalist seat, they would walk away because at a certain point, you can have concerns for your safety with it. Again, I don't think that's something that is very far-fetched. You've seen the threats toward Jeremy Hales. We saw the stuff from JC. We saw the statements about that. We heard Shara talk about going a furtherance, talking about somebody wanted a hitman. So as a person investigating, you see people step away. But here's the problem. Here's the rub in that. In order to do that, you have to leave that guy standing by himself. And you have to leave all of these other people. Because it's not just... See, this is the thing that really bothers me with the complaints out there. Everybody that has ever had a problem with any of these people apparently is a monster in some way, according to them. Whether that's far-flung past, whether that's the present, anyone, they were all monsters. And it's almost everyone that you see crossing paths that disagrees. Meanwhile, you have this assortment of characters that on paper are, oh man, I mean, it is something to look at. It is something to behold. But people talk about Jeremy Hales and they talk about, well, I don't like the way that he comports himself sometimes. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Is Jeremy Hales, is he dealing with something that any of us have ever seen? No, I've never seen. This is one thing I will agree with BBB on. He wrote me an email one time, again, and he used a description in it. The more I think about it, this is the one thing I will give him. Let me see. Let me find this. He wrote, well, he included me, I would say. He tagged me in, but he was trying to recruit other journalists. He said, there has never been a situation like it. And I've looked at some cases with glimpses. Again, there are crazy big cases out there. You know, if you're talking about some Hollywood mega star that ends up being an absolute monster, we've seen something like those. Are horrible thing. But when you're talking about a guy that moves into a place that is being besieged, just some guy out there that likes to make storage videos and charts his real life. I've never seen anything like this at all. And I feel like, you know, if people move off of that, ultimately, like I said, he stands, and sooner or later, and I think sometimes this is the plan. If there's enough things that hit a person and they stand alone, they may bend or they may break. Now, he's a strong guy, by the way. But you know this stuff. It hits you emotionally. It does harm. You can't feel safe. If you knew people had been making threats, if you had heard that they had been talking about looking for a hitman about. I mean, how would you react to this? It went from character assassination to more. None of that stuff again. I notice that always gets left out of interviews and discussions, by the way. All of that is left by the wayside. Like so many other things, all of that is left right by the wayside. Oh, they could talk about Jerby's comment. They loved it. Like I said, they seem to want to adopt the new go-to that's going to be adopted by these folks is, again, this claim of anti-Semitism. Why? Because of Deuce foreskin and saying he has a big nose. And yet when you look at the people that make these claims, when they adopt them, when they're throwing that out there, whew, man. All right. But anyway, I'm going to hit some super chats now. I'm still digesting some of this. Like I said, I had a day, I went out, I had a doctor's appointment. It was, it was a day where I thought, man, I'm going to come in, I'm going to probably read the court document that came up. That was my plan. I was going to read that document and I was going to point out this whole no phone conference versus conference. I thought I was going to make a statement about the Michael Volpe thing. And if you seem confused in that, there's quote unquote investigative reporters that are being brought in. They're asking for $10,000. They have a GoFundMe up. They were interviewed with 2L. I thought I would talk a little bit about that, but I didn't think about all this other stuff that would come up too. It is absolute insanity. All right. So anyway, and I will say too that I don't bend to threats either. I don't at all. So, you know, people making threats, you can continue to make your threats. You can continue trying to, again, go with character assassination. You can make up crazy rumors and bullshit. You can probably find a couple of haters out there somewhere that have made up some crazy shit. But ultimately, my background is easily looked at. And I know they already have looked at it. Because like I said, their big go-to was a couple of bankruptcies, you know, that I myself filed. So I could discharge some, it doesn't say this on file, but I'm telling you, it's to discharge debt that I accumulated because it bought someone that I cared about years in their life. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. I'm proud of it, to be honest. I could have been some miserly asshole that was like, oh man, my credit score. No, I didn't. Instead, I would do it again in a heartbeat. If somebody that I cared about, they found themselves in a bond like that, and I could extend their life, my God, dude, I would do it in a heartbeat. If that is the best you've got, like I'm not ashamed of anything in my past, anything at all. You know, I come from poverty. My mom worked hard though. She pulled us up. I'm the first person in my family to ever go to college. I went to community college. I took a break, went back, ended up with a master's degree, was working on my PhD in ABA. I got up to your whole practicum portion. And when I got up there, I had, again, there was the medical problems with my dad. And also when I got to that point, I found out that to do that, you know, I went into therapy instead. I took my master's and went for it because I found out that a PhD in that would mean that I'd have to sit across from a table, diagnose kids, which is okay. That part's okay. But then it becomes a money issue. If families out there can't afford to get help, if If you make a little too much money, if you work too hard and you have a high needs child, that I would have to break the news to you that you don't qualify for any help at all. I did that part in practice. I mean, it felt like it killed a piece of me. So instead, I went into community-based mental health, and I spent years there working with poor, very poor. And there's not money in it. I worked that, and I did this together until recently. And the reason I left that wasn't because of mental health. It was because company issues. It was because, well, there were a few things. But one of the things, I noted this on Twitter, there was a person there. Again, I'm not going to get into the company or any names there, but there's a person there that, well, let's just say they harass people. And when this was brought up to HR and to supervisorial people, the response to that is, but we're a family. It's like, no, we're not a family. My family don't treat me like that. So I'm going to hit the road. You know, I can't do that anymore. So now I focus on this. I enjoy it, man. This has been fun employment. It is the best employment. I get to cover what I want to cover, talk about what I want to cover, and feel like I can do something out here and enjoy myself at the same time. So let's cover super chats here. All right. 1 second. Let me pull that up here. I lost it there for a second. All right. Look at that. Subi Sue kicked that off too. What's up, Subi Sue? Always like that too. Thanks for your membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your membership. Welcome to Tux. Thank you. Appreciate you too. Always appreciate you. Oh man. I also noticed gifted membership. So not only did she sign on, but somebody else signed in with it as well. Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love memberships. Iowa Gal dropped a gifted membership too. Bam. Dropping them on there. In fact, tonight we've had 46 super. Wow, that's pretty good, especially for the amount of time that we've done there. Oh man. And there was a PayPal. So that would be 47. We almost hit 50 already there. I'm going to say from AM, you know what I'm talking about there. Chicken nugget money. Indeed. So they said 825. And thank you for that. I appreciate you too. Chicken nugget money. But there we go. Thank you for the gifted membership there. Susan, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships. Like I said, I love memberships. I think that is one of the coolest things here because it makes people part of everything. So thank you. Fallen Hero, thank you for a gifted membership too. Yeah, I hope you're doing good too, Fallen Hero. Appreciate you, my friend. Dragon Man 59, thank you for the membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. BK, what's up, BK? Thank you for the gifted membership as well. Appreciate that, BK. Thank you. Cynic in Chief, thanks for the 2 there. Judge is already angry. Ignoring the depot is dumb. Yes, this judge does not seem... Does this judge seem like somebody you would really want to mess around with? We've seen the allows you to do almost anything if you're certain parties. We saw that with DeThomas's, right? This guy is as far from DeThomas's as you can be, in my opinion. He does not want to have to deal with a bunch of garbage. He's been very clear about that. He's been pretty impartial in that too. He doesn't want to deal with garbage from anybody. And you notice that report, like I said, that whole hasn't called me. He seemed very irritated by it. When I read that, I thought, surely that can't be correct. Randy, and he knows what he's doing. You can read it in his filings. You can see it in his behavior. You can read it in his depot. You can tell he knows his approach. This judge just does not seem like there's somebody I would want to trifle with. I would not want to be held in contempt of court either. I would not want to face possible sanctions. Again, playing chicken with it, even if you were victorious in something like that. Imagine that game of chicken. Like, that is a very risky gamble to try to pull off. Like, what are the upsides? It's like what I was saying, you know, there's a guy I heard about. He used to do a juggling act. It was out at like I guess it was a state park or something. I don't remember. You know, he would come out there, he would juggle, show off, collect different. He'd collect donations and more, sometimes appearance fees, but he would juggle chainsaws. Now, he wasn't juggling the trick chainsaws, you know, the ones where you don't have a chain on there where you can't actually get hurt. You know, you could get hurt, but you know what I mean. Like, it wouldn't mess you up like one. You know, it doesn't have a chain on there. He wasn't doing that. He was juggling real chainsaws. Real ones. I saw it once. I was like, holy crap, this guy is really legitly doing it. And I thought, man, that is amazing to see. But at the same time, why would you do that? Risk versus reward. Well, yeah, you may put on one heck of a show. Maybe you'll get away with the show. Maybe not. Yeah. Maybe one day, you know, they'll call you kickstand because of what you've done to yourself. They'll call you chainsaw leg or something. I don't know, you know. That's what it reminds me of. Why juggle the chainsaw in the courtroom? I don't get it. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a legal scholar like these folks. Just Schwartz, thank you for your membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for that membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. Oh, Rhea, what's up? That's awful. Man, my big brother died today. Yesterday, I found out today. He took over my dad when he died when I was 15. He was the best big brother. My biggest cheerleader. I felt a loss. Thanks for the chat. Man, I remember I used to not be able to talk about this, but I remember again, you know, my little stepbrother, remember when he graduated from school and he was sickly, you know, he seemed worn down and just beat, just really beat. He went in and he saw a doctor. And when he saw the doctor, they thought, you know, he played sports and stuff. He had bruises on him and whatnot. And they thought, you know, maybe he's just sick. You know, it's seasonal or whatever. Well, they misdiagnosed him. He actually had leukemia. And it was awful. The shock to that, you know, going from I'm going to go to college to didn't make it to college. Before that gap was over. And that loss, I mean, it was haunting. It was just like I talk about I say father, I talk about my stepfather, you know, and that man was a father to me, and loss there. It's painful. But you know, out there you have people that care about you. And that person, they cared about you too. Remember, the loss hurts. But it hurts for a reason, and that's because you had so much with them. So you celebrate the life. And it's hard to at first. It's hard to get there. Because, again, you're seeing the loss. And it's okay to grieve. It is okay. And it's okay to lean on people. It is. It's totally okay. You know, you lean on the people that love and care about you. And we send you love. We send you support here. But it is totally okay to grieve. It's okay to need. And when you come here, you know, like I said, you can watch the crazy and the chaos. And it's okay to laugh at that's stupid for a minute too. You know, and distract your mind a little bit. Much love to you. You and yours, I'll say. You all are much loved. So we all appreciate you. We do. So again, yeah, my praise and my love. I have my favorites. Thanks for the two. Breadstick money. To start off the grifting. Breadstick monies. You know, like I think it's so strange with the money thing. Like I said, I've never asked for. I can't even imagine coming to you guys and being like, hey, I could cover this story, but I need $10,000 to do it. Oh my God. Again, if you like what we do and you want to support our channel in the aftermath, then that's fine. We've already done that. We've done that for you. You support the platform. You support the fun times. My research, though, you don't have to pay me to research. Like when I find a case that I find interesting, I will look at it. I will look at it and look at it and look at it. There are other people like me, like Megan Fox, too. Loved Megan as well. The stuff that came up that's been aimed at her lately, right after all the stuff with Jeff, has been so crazy. But thank you for the breadsticks there, for sure. Dragon Man, what's up, too? Thanks for that month as well. Buckle up. Indeed. Indeed. Terry, thanks for doing. Can I post my email address? I will post it for you. Give me 1 minute. It will roll through the chat right now. It is, again, 2 words. Granular, 1 word. GRANULAR. Heaven, 2nd word. HEAVEN. Slam those together at gmail.com. Why that address? Don't remember. Don't recall anymore, but it was the one I set up with. So, hope that helps there. Appreciate you, Terry. And Marcy, what's up? Send a hundo. Thank you. Appreciate that for sure. That's awesome of you. To the real ones with integrity and credibility. Love you, Tug. I appreciate you. Love back to you as well. Again, I try. There are certain things. Again, you don't talk about personal crazy that comes up, but I try to be pretty open about things that come up. You live your life on the microphone, and it's a weird place to be. It is. It's a strange place to be, but you only have your words. Like I have an icon and some words, and I try to keep those words rolling. But I appreciate you there. Thank you for that too. That is very awesome of you. Thank you. My Adventures in Homebrewing. What's up, my friend? Thank you for that membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. It's awesome. More. Thank you for the there. More breadsticks. Get them breadsticks a rolling. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm gonna make a suit out of breadsticks. I'm gonna run around with a breadstick shirt. It's amazing. Thank you. Emma, thanks for the 2. There's just a lie because the truth isn't on his side. It is amazing. I mean, you see the lies by omission. We got an expert. That's my favorite one I've heard so far. We got an expert. Yeah, about that. Did you tell anybody your background and your so-called expert? Are you going to file that expert in the courtroom? Please, God, tell me you're going to file that thing in the courtroom. I mean, it's going to come up anyway. Might as well file it. Might as well. Oh, because the disqualifying round will be very fun. Tracy, thanks for the 10. Just to make the haters hate more. Indeed. You see them shaking their little T-Rex arms. It's fun times. Oh, so much goodness. Right a chick. What's up? Thanks for the 5. Brief Tug. Put your floaties on. You're drowning in content. I know, man. Like there's more. There was so much I could have added to tonight, by the way. Again, I could have added letters if we wanted. There was the stuff with there's actually a very good Jeremy Hales video that talks about a new police interaction. That one was very interesting. That would be something you'd talk about there too. There's a court document. They also, again, yesterday we talked about that email, with Megan, the BBB email. And holy crap, I still want to laugh at that. I sit down after we read it and digested some of it, talking about the yoga thing. That stuff cracks me up. Oh, fun times. But yes, drowning in the content. As Shine, thanks for 5 months, 3.5 inches of snow here in SC. Took out my internet for 4 days. Lord, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Miss Megan Tug, what the hell's family? Much love to everyone. Well, hey, much love to you too. I hope you're staying warm. That's when it has been freezing here. I went out today and I thought, my God, it is cold. I'm not a person that's as I get older, I'm more impacted by the cold. But I used to not be impacted by it all. Like jacket optional. These days, I feel it more, and I kept thinking, man, is that where I'm getting old? And is that part of it? It's like, no, that's probably the temperature's edging towards 0 here. So everybody stay warm. I mean, we got snow in New Orleans. That's the weirdest thing ever. Chris, thanks for the 2 there. Breadstick money for Tug. Thank you very much. Breadstick money. Appreciate that. That is awesome. Thank you. Sue, what's up, Sue? Thanks for the 2. Megan and the Megan Fox. Ooh, look at that breadstick groupie cash train. Isn't that beautiful? Love it. Piling down the island. There's some Shara statements I need to look at too. I need to write that down for myself. Yeah. Yep. Thanks for the 3. Hey, Tug. Rest of the fam. Hope everyone's having a great night. 47 here in Florida. Been cold for us until I heard from my second cousin in Idaho. 47, Florida. Yeah. I mean, it's still cold there though. But yeah. I mean, here in Tennessee, we don't. The lows they can be low, but I haven't seen lows like this in a hot minute. I went out today and I had waters in my car and they were all frozen. I mean, that says something. It was cold enough that I left a planter outside and it shattered from the cold. I thought, that's crazy. It just shattered because he got so cold. Oh, thanks for the 9 months there. I think Tuck needs his wings this evening. Yes, indeed. I fear me drown in the content. Thanks for a great show always. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you there. Bonnie, thanks for the 5. How many paint chips have the ecosystem eaten? Let's find out. One. I mean, really. Like, how many Tide Mod challenges do you have to fail? I wonder. Coyote Bay, thanks for the 2. Oh, snap. Breadstick money to pay off. Indeed. And thank you for that. Oh, snap indeed. Oh, head snap. And I saw that stuff. I was like, what now? Elu, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships there, too. Thank you very much, Elu. Appreciate you on that. Thank you very much. Sandra D, thank you also. 5 gifted memberships. Oh, thank you all again. Memberships, that is amazing. Appreciate that. Paul, yeah, thanks for the 2 L's. It's more like 2 XLs. Oh, that's not big enough. I always like the 2L thing. I thought the Shara, that was Shara's coding. I think that's funny, but 2 loser 1. It was really funny the way she did it. And I'm like that. I'm just stuck with it. Right a chick also. Thank you for a gifted membership as well. Thank you. Appreciate you there. Always appreciate you. Thank you. Jay, what's up, Jay? Thanks for the dude. He will cover the case for money. He's a loser. I mean, apparently that's the go-to. So there's another thing. I forgot to mention this. So if you look up that GoFundMe I was discussing too, or whatever, again, I call it a GoFundMe, but I don't think it's a GoFundMe. I think it's I don't remember. You can look it up if you're so inclined, but you can look up how many a person does. And apparently every case is like that. Now for me, I don't worry as much about that. I just jump in and cover, and I know that people have always supported my endeavors. Always. They've always supported what I want to cover. So it's always worked out. I've never, again, fundraised before the fact. You know, I'll cover if. I will make a video if. And it's like, no. No. George, thanks for the 5 there. I love you and Megan. Yes, indeed. Love the Megan. Like I said, she's been under siege lately, too. I think a lot of that stuff has been meant to really try to do harm to her. People have been pretty nasty toward her lately. You know, she just got back again from Jeff's funeral. She was greeted with all of this insanity. She had somebody, again, that she, I guess, thought was a friend. They're out there attacking her. I feel like, again, it's all intentional. Nastiness. Sue, thanks for the 5. Megan, you're up. Your next book title, Can't Effing Make This Shit Up. Indeed. 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 I mean, she could, Lord, this would make one heck of a book. People wouldn't believe, they would not believe that this is real. If I had not watched this from the beginning, I would think surely there has to be something wrong in this right now. No, it's actually crazier than I probably give it credit for. Joe, thanks for the 5 there. Breadsticks for the haters. They haters. They get to feed on the rage. Fun times. I love it. Oh, Ball Python King. I love it, by the way. I love the name there. I enjoy it there. I told this the other day, but this is really funny. My daughter has always talked about how she would like a snake as a pet. And my mom is horrified by snakes. Like she's horrified by them. I used to go out and used to catch snakes. And I remember one time, this was when I was younger, a lot younger. You know, I had brought up 2 buckets. I brought one up that had fish in it. And I caught some pretty good looking catfish. She went up, I'd set these buckets down. So she looks in one bucket, it's sealed. And she sees a catfish. She's like, oh, wow. So she obviously figures the other bucket's got catfish in it, right? I mean, that would make sense, yeah? Well, she opens the bucket up, and I wasn't paying attention to what she was doing because I would have been like, no, don't do that. She opens it up, and it is filled to the brim with snakes. We've been out catching snakes out in the middle of the nothing. And I mean, it was like one of those, you know, those gag cans where you open it up, the snakes pop out, except this is a 10-gallon bucket and it's filled with the real thing. So anyway, my daughter, you know, she talks about how she wants a snake. So she decided she would prank everybody. So she started telling everybody, including my mom, that she had gotten an albino freaking snake. And she found a picture online. And she was sending it out, saying that was her new pet. Oh, the joke was pretty good. That's my older. Oh, she loves pranking. And that was a good one. That's what it reminds me of. But thank you for your 5 gifted memberships there too. I love it though. Ball Python King. Hit me Witch. Thanks for the super sticker there. Thank you very much for the super sticker. I do enjoy the super stickers, by the way. I like looking back, and I always like to look those over. Angela Quinn, thanks for the 15 there. Do you think they deliberately got him just because he knows our Megan Fox personally? Like that they were friends? And yes, and admit things. Yes, that's exactly why they did that. Yes, Volpe, again, they went out and this is my personal belief. They contacted everyone that she knows. They've been contacting anyone they can find. I mean, again, you've seen the letters. There have been plenty of them out there, but like Dave Neal was the perfect example. Remember the letter that was sent to him? I mean, this has been some attempted recruitment apparatus. But yeah, they've been going after people that are close to her, hoping that they could find something. And it's retaliation too. because of what she found in Northport. That's my personal opinion. I think that's the retaliatory portion. And they don't care who they are. They don't care what's attached to that. They just hope that somebody will say something bad about Megan. But ultimately, like I said, Megan's been in this business for a long time. She has she's been involved in some very high-profile cases. And I'm not talking about, like, she's been on the side of dealing with institutional authority. Like, when I say high profile, I'm talking about institutions, and that's got coverage. That's big time. Again, like if I'm talking about a celebrity, that's high profile, but that's different. She's built things and won from the ground floor. She's covered a lot of meaningful cases. So for people to try to go after her, and I mean, I guess thanks for really strengthening her resolve. Like, it may hurt for the moment. And she said yesterday, yeah, it hurt. So congratulations. They did manage to hurt her. But what that does, man, it makes you steel. It really does. I've been there, done that. And it will turn you to stone. So, on the other side of that, that's not, you don't want that. But they didn't live together, by the way. So in this, again, I'm making this understandable. They were friends. The way that this happened, Megan Fox and that Volpe guy, they had a show where they would it goes back to something that they covered. I think it had to do with the what was it? The library case. I believe that's the one. But again, she would have to say, all right. But they did a show together. They would cover cases and stuff, or he would pop up on show. I don't know if it was a regular show. This is before my time. I don't know. Okay. But Volpe was covering a case in which there was a guy, or there was a woman, rather, a quote unquote victim. Now, we call them a source. I've seen the word source used, but this is a person, again, they're calling a victim. And he was covering this case. And when he covered the case, he's obviously, when he's going out there and talking about it as quote unquote advocacy for a victim, you're going after the other party, right? You're saying that they're guilty of something atrocious, whatever that may be. Now, he's not disclosing to anyone when he's covering this, the fact that this victim and him are living together. He's not disclosing the fact that him and this victim, they're having relations. This comes out because this woman gets pregnant. And along the way, she makes, again, this is his narrative. She makes claims that he has abused her. And he says they are false. Now, there's apparently more to this story too. But I mean, just what I told you right there, that's a problem, all of it. He doesn't disclose any of that. That is unethical as fuck. Like, Megan's, she's got a family, a life, and everything else. She also has, the one thing that you can't help it. One thing you can't help sometimes is in advocacy. When you're going out and you're trying to change the world and you're trying to help, you're trying to remedy and fix things. Here's a problem you run into. You believe when people say that they want to do that too. When you're wide-eyed, naive, you think other people mean it. They want to change things. You think they mean it. I've been there. I've been that naive. That's an optimism. You think everybody wants to change the world like you do. And you learn real quick that that's not the reality. That's not it at all. So Megan in this, again, she sent an email. This is, again, by Volpe's own statement. She sent an email off of that says that, well, it's a lot of stuff, apparently. There's a letter of accusations and stuff. And she says, you know what? I'm your friend. I'm not going to cover this. I don't know what's true in this. You're too close to it. So you don't know. But as a friend, I'm telling you, those stories that you cover, you have become it. Now, the guy admits in this that Megan at that time, she could have wrecked his life, and she could have been mad, and she would have had every right to be mad because he lied to her. He was talking about advocacy and changing things and really using her name with this, but he wasn't disclosing this insane conflict. And in the aftermath, again, he says that this person is a false accuser. Well, if they are a false accuser, then everything he was doing before, while he had this conflict of interest, is that all tainted? I mean, it's already tainted anyway, but if they were a liar and a monster, and also that idea of gain, not to mention if this person is a victim and you're doing that with them and you believe they're a victim, isn't that taking advantage of somebody? I mean, there's so many problems in that stuff. And that's from his own statements. So I hope that's clarified. Again, these were his own. He did an interview where he went after Megan. It wasn't the whole 2L program was about Megan Fox. It wasn't about the case or getting this guy to cover. It was about Megan Fox. They thought they could get money up off that. And again, he's pushing a $10,000 GoFundMe. But I mean, there's a lot in that. But after today, I don't really plan on giving this person airwaves or time. Like I said, I wanted to clarify a few things. See, there's still confusion on it because this person, they went out and they attacked Megan. They put out statements that were confusing. People were like, wait, did they live together? No, no. He lived with a supposed victim and didn't disclose it. They just did a show. I mean, it's weird. But he was recruited by the ecosystem. Now he says he's going to be impartial, but I've already seen, like, they've already put together a quote unquote article on it, and it is filled with all types of problems, inaccuracies, and more. It's filled with jar. But beyond that, why the fuck these people? I mean, they would be the last, because of course there was a tie to Megan Fox. They hoped they could hurt her. So it's just nasty stuff, man. And like I said, the thing that bothers me about this is these attacks. I mean, I'm stoned here. I'm in it for the long haul. You were going to run me off. I'm 100%. Like they talk about, oh my God, you back what Jeremy says. Because I don't think Jeremy's wrong. The man has, you notice when these people talk about shit, they don't supply evidence. The dude, I mean, you can make up any kind of insane claim. Back it up with something. Like, where's the proof? And anytime that's something that comes up, I mean, the distort reality. make false claims. They want you to ignore the entirety of the background with that. They love to bring up backgrounds. Like I said, they love to bring up something. Oh, bankruptcy. But man, you talk about a background filled with dozens of GoFundMe. You talk about backgrounds with court convictions from other people in jail. Oh no, man, that's wrong. It's wrong. 100% though. Yeah. Fuck yes. I believe Jeremy. He has never shied away from answering a question that I've had. Ever. Like, that's the kicker. And I am a probative mofo. Like, I do ask questions. Like, you know, I ask a lot of questions because I dedicate my time to something and I dig, but I also don't take somebody's word at it. I continue. I got a raider coming in. Give me a second. Hey, what's up? Hey, what? Hey, what? I love you. Are you supposed to be mad? Are you supposed to be mad though? Okay. Wait. Hey, go get mad. I know you don't want to get caught being up. Go get mad. I love you. Hey, I love you. You can. All right, bed. Whisper. She's so cute. Yes, they went with me today. They went, I got them up bright and early. We went out. We had to go all the way to Vegas. So we had to go up into Nashville. And we spent all day. Dr. Well, anyway, I lost my spot here. I just wanted to clarify with the angel. Again, you know, the narrative, I don't want it to be confusing in any way whatsoever. I want to make that understandable. Like I said, the other person, like there's a team out there. The other person though, like I thought the Volpe stuff was bad, but the other here, I'm gonna open a rocket pop. Give me a second. Shh, be quiet. Yes, let's be quiet. Okay. I got your rocket pop. All right, let's open it. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay, well, I'll open it real quick. I got you here. You want this? There you go. I won't tell anybody. Run up. Love you. Shut my door. It's just supposed to be a bed. But again, I thought that stuff was bad. And then tripped across, like I said, it's not one person being recruited into. And the other, again, maybe they should look up his name in court. Because I would say that, you know, if somebody has been convicted of wire fraud, you know, fraud comes in, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm not going to let them raise money off of you. I'm just saying. Maybe that's me. But anyway, I digress. Doc, what's up, Doc? What's up, Doc? I like that. Thank you for the membership. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you there. Angela also says, she did clarify that. She said, hey, sorry for the mix up in the last message. I blame Jeremy for misunderstanding. Oh, and the morphine and diazepam. Yes, that'll get you there because I'm not doing 100%. Hey, I get you. We had that. You know, and again, the way the statements came up and everything. I mean, when you read through the stuff, like these people make confusing statements too. But that's why I added this person's name, because I don't want there to be confusion. There was confusion, like people were like, oh my God, somebody betrayed. And they were naming, you know, because a lot of people don't pay attention to the ecosystem. They don't watch it. They don't know all their moves. So they were like naming people they thought could be that. I was like, no. I want to clarify that too. I want to make sure you don't think it's somebody that's out there. So I don't plan to talk about that person very often. If they want me to talk about them, I could look into everything we just discussed. I could look into any claims from said people that made that and other claims. I mean, if that's what they want, you know, I could pull up all those GoFundMe's and pull them up on the screen and stuff. But I just, like I said, I just wanted to say something on that because I thought it was pretty shitty what was going on there. But beyond that, again, where's your money going, folks? But I understand. I mean, again, I've been at a point where I've had to have pain medication and stuff. You know, I live streamed at one time. I had my gallbladder taken out, and the day that I had it taken out, I went and live streamed it, and it was an amazingly funny live stream. But I was pretty toasty. I will have to say that probably was one of the crazy live streams I've done. I was like, maybe in retrospect, it turned out fine, but I was like, no, I want to have my faculties there, but it's okay. But I hope the one statement I would add with that too, I hope you will be doing better. Love to you again. Support to you. Appreciate you too. Good people. Thank you. Appreciate you. AKA the cat lady. What's up? Thanks for the 2. Who writes professional letters in 24 fonts? Not so professionals. Indeed. 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 I love it. Beatrice, thanks for the 10 there. I love your readings. Thank you for the time. Thank you for putting in the time and effort. Hey, no problem. Again, I didn't want to, when I looked at this stuff too, I did not want to sit down and be like, this guy is 100% right, or that lady is 100% right. I wanted to see stuff. And luckily, with the first interview I was doing with Jeremy, he provides evidence. Now, there was the other side too. BBB wants to come on. In fact, he called Megan a coward. You won't face me. No. She extended the same courtesy she extended to Jeremy Hales. If LMNOP would like to come on, she is totally invited to come on and to talk about her side of things. She totally could do that. But BBB's not invited. To be fair, Randy hasn't been on either. I wouldn't expect that. So, it's not been a have lawyers on. I haven't had him on either. So, okay. Now again, there's a difference in the two. I think Randy would be an interesting discussion about elements of law, about procedure on the case. In fact, after the case, I think that would be a really fascinating discussion about approach and pretty much anything else in there. But I mean, the winding up, extend an invite to parties, but BBB is not invited. He doesn't get to make threats and pretend he doesn't make threats. He's like, my favorite stuff is, I don't threaten to sue people. In fact, I said, if you stop your coverage, then I wouldn't sue. I'm like, okay, well, that's an if then. If you do, then, but if you don't, then. So, okay. Syndicate Chief, thanks for the 2. Every time he lies in a filing, his nose grows. That's what's been happening? I gotcha. Cuddy Linquist, thanks for the 2 there. Keep it up. BBB is a window licker. Indeed. Licking windows. Jeez, this and that. Thanks for the 2. Is it legal? Is it even legal? Right to object and not attend. That's going to be a fun little discussion there. That misreading law and saying I'm not going to attend. We'll see how that turns out. Well, we'll see. I'm sure there will be filings on that. Again, I can only imagine how that's going to go, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see some more on that, and it's probably going to be fascinating to behold. Connor, what's up, Connor? What's up? Thanks for the father. I threaten you with breadsticks. It is breadsticks at dawn, man. Breadsticks at dawn. I shall drop my glove at thine face, sir. Indeed. Thank you, Raz. AKA the cat lady. Thanks for the 10 there. Thank you for being you, Tug. I look forward to spending nights watching you and Megan. I know, man. This is a live stream. I did not actually. She can drop in on anyone because she has a link there. But this is one. I went in. I guess I'll say it this way. I don't want my words attached to her. I don't know about her relationship or how she feels. Again, she hasn't gone out and tried to cause anyone problems or anything else. My words are my own. So I did not want her name associated with what I have to say on this today. This is my own statements. I had something to say. I wanted to talk about it. I had looked up some of that for yesterday, and I thought it would be tactless for me to say some of that stuff because, again, it wasn't just it. Some of it hurt for sure, but also, again, this is my wording. So, 100%. Typically, everything's good to go. But like I said, in that, if she wanted to be on, she could pop on anytime. But this was something that I wanted to talk about on my own, just to make sure there. Sitting in cheap, thanks for the 2 there. Yellow breadsticks, garlic butter, or nacho cheese. That is not yo cheese, son. Better be garlic butter, nacho cheese. It's some of that peanut butter we saw in that one picture. complete with black dots. What's up, Taz67 Invader? Thank you for the gifted membership. Actually, there's 2 gifted memberships. Thank you for 2 gifted memberships on that. That is awesome of you. Thank you. Appreciate you. Cynic in Chief dropped gifted membership as well. Thank you, Cynic in Chief. By the way, appreciate you. You've been around a long time. Appreciate you, my friend. Amanda, thanks for the 5. As a mom, a special needs child, people like you, Tug, were a godsend to us parents. I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't. Another thing I didn't like with ABA, part of ABA, analytical behavioral analysis, right? There are issues with ABA. There are positives with ABA, but there are issues with it too. And for somebody like myself, like in therapy, I wanted to practice multiple approaches. I want to take elements from CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, but ultimately, in any approach, it's if you see an issue, you rectify the issue. You try to remedy or you try to help with it. And again, the issue isn't the special need. The issue is, if there's a problem with a learning-based model, you find a learning-based model that helps with a child, and you make sure they can get help. If there's behavioral elements that come with that, you identify them and you figure out how to approach them. Yeah, I know. I still talk about therapy. I like to talk about therapy stuff, but I don't know if I'll ever practice it again. Because some of it. Green Veggie Beast, but thank you. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Green Veggie Beast, thanks for 5 minds there. I'm going home. Well, I hope you enjoy your trip. Going home from work. Are you traveling there? Careful on the roads if you're out. If it's crazy out where you are, by the way. Double Tread, thank you for the 20 there. I work in a local CSB. State 2. I left special ed, went in adult services for disabled. I'm just trying to finish my retirement. 11 more to go. I love working with special needs. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I get doing your thing. Much luck and love. Yes, indeed. You find something that you're passionate about, You know, it calls you and you're like, yes. I think there's a lot of education. Like when we're doing this stuff and we're looking at things, again, I try not to, I got irritated by the Munchausen by proxy discussion too. Megan talked about it a bit. I don't remote diagnose. I'll be like, that's interesting. And people have talked about that. But like I've said a million times, these, a person's not my client. I would not. That's also, again, it's one of those things that, how many times have you seen that attached where someone is rectifying it? It's usually attached by the state. It's usually jailable. That's usually how it's attached. So, no. Now, we did have a certain person bring up Munchausen by proxy, but that certain person, well, they were talking about their mom, and that, well, spoiler, that was LMOP. So, yeah, that's good, by the way. Double trend. It's rewarding to work with a population that has need, and you can see, in therapy, you'll see a lot of people that won't show progress, but you get somebody like extreme. Like when I work with kids, and when I work with kids, I work with little kids that went through horrible situations. That's what I ended up with in community-based mental health for a while. And you would find people that you could see progress, but it was so painful to watch sometimes. Then you get one person that just, you could see over years, you could see whatever happened, they don't leave it behind, but they figure out how to move forward with it. And that's amazing. Now at the same time, man, I had to stop doing that because it ate away at me. Whew. But with special needs, that's something, you can do and you can be proud of. It's amazing. I love it. Carol, thanks for the 2 there. There's not a statement, but that is a statement. So thank you for that. Appreciate that. Judy, thank you for the 2 there. This guy isn't worth 10, much less 10K. Indeed. I'm amazed at the audacity to the 10K thing. Cynic in Chief, thanks for 2. How much for you to do yoga with Megan on the Tepo? 10K. Actually, how would you know that I'm doing yoga? I'll put up an avatar doing yoga. I mean, sure, I'm doing yoga right now. Woo, isn't it impressive? That's funny. For 10K. Oh, love it. Amanda, thanks for the gifted membership too. Thank you very much, Amanda. Appreciate that. That would be like a comedy of errors if I tried to do yoga. It'd be like, oh my gosh. Be like much like a turtle stuck in its back. That would be me. Zoa, thanks for the 10 there. Hey, Tuckerino, here's my BBB settlement gesture for running your avatar. Oh no. I sent you an email the other week, by the way. Love you, brother. Kick it up, like bump it to the top. Let me make sure I saw it, okay? Because I may have over the last week, again, I had the ER visit and stuff. It's thrown me off with some stuff. So some things, I may have missed in there. I just want to make sure. Frosty Pepper, what's up, Frosty? Thank you for those 5 gifted memberships too. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate you. That's awesome. I love those. Wendy, what's up, Wendy? Thank you for the gifted. I'm sorry. Thank you for the membership. I said gifted for some reason. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your membership. And welcome to Tugs Thugs. I don't know why I busted in on the. Oh my God. Oh, Lord. That's hilarious. So apparently, as part of not going for the subpoena, there's posts about it too, laughing about not showing it. Holy God. Good job. That's smart. It's good. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Oh my Lord. That's so dumb. The judge's gonna love this. They're gonna love them. They're gonna love them. Thank you, Wendy. Crafty Bob, thanks for the 2 there. Check email. Love you, Megan. I was just checking the email. I saw some screenshots of something. I think I will. I think we're gonna have. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. Looking at all of that stuff later on. This is definitely not at the end of its road. It's definitely not. So, I mean, again, people can pretend that they don't have to do something. We'll see we will see exactly what happens. Man, BBB also decided he's going to sound off about it as well. He loves, by the way, he's been talking about the signs are a MacGuffin. They're a MacGuffin, so you can get YouTube content. Well, that's going to be interesting. Why don't you tell people? Why don't you go with the whole how many people saw it? Let's see how that plays. Hippie Witch, thanks for the $2 super sticker for that. Thank you very much, Hippie Witch. Appreciate you. Thank you. Loving the name too. Appreciate you. Okay, the Cali, thanks for 5 there. Problem is how you stand up against people who have no ethics or morals. Well, you just don't care what they do. You don't care what they say. They're not going to come to my home. You know, at the end of the day, they're not going to have the stones to come to my house. So, I mean, yeah. What are they going to do? Talk some more shit about me online? Who cares, man? Been there, done that, supersized it. It's just character assassination. It's the things that these low rent assholes, they always do. Who cares, man? But I mean, it is a problem for some people for sure. You know, because you assume there's a line in the sand for people, but is there really a line in the sand for some people? Hippie Witch also, thank you for a gifted membership with that too. Thank you very much, Hippie Witch. Appreciate that. So, Miss Erica, thank you for the membership there. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Appreciate all that. That is awesome of you too. 1 second here. John Boy, thanks for the 279. BBB, stop eating that yellow snow. Yes, watch out where the doggies go. And maybe you should make a snow cone. No, wait, that's not how it goes. She hunts. Thanks for the 10 there. Thank you again for being there for us. They were alone over the holiday. Hey, thank you. Look, you all are there for me. Like if I ever had a problem, if I had a real problem, you all would be there. If I ever had a need, you know what? It is the perfect example. Okay, yesterday I didn't do a live stream, or not yesterday, but the day before I didn't do a live stream. Right? You know how many people messaged me to check and see if everything was okay, and how many comments I got on that. So I mean, again, that's love. I appreciate you all. Y'all would be there for me in a heartbeat. Again, whether that's need, health, just to talk about something, if I get sued, whatever, y'all would be there. I know it. I know it 100%. And that means I don't know what you call this thing. And I feel like at times, you know, people are like family. You get to know people over years. You know their struggles, you know their successes, you know their loves, losses, laughs, their gains. You know all that. So, yeah, I love to be there. Appreciate you. Zoa, thanks. Resent. I saw that command. I'll check it in right after this too. Appreciate you there. And Cynthia, thank you for your membership as well. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your membership, and welcome to Tugs Thugs. Now, who's live right now? Who is on? Let me check. Let me check the streams. Is somebody live that we should send to? Who should we go over to? Give me 1 second. I'm looking for my redirect. The expert. Expert. His stream is not coming up. Give me a minute. There it is. Finally. You know what? His stream. I had to search a weird way to find his stream. That's really weird. It took me forever to find it. Give me a second. I'm going to set up a redirect. I'm going to send you over to the expert tonight. You can go over there and goof off. And of course, tell them that Tug sent you. We'll do a little raid. A little raid now and then. This is always fun. No, I like doing raids. It's good stuff. All right. So I'm going to set you up. And we will conclude on this. I'm sure we will have more to. Well, actually, there's another Susie. Thanks for the 10 there. For some of us listening to you as a form of therapy in a positive way. Also, being able to support each other in the chat is awesome. Yes, indeed. You know, it is positive. When you have stuff going on in life, coping skills, you need positive coping skills, right? Some of coping skills are really distraction. You know, when people are like, get a hobby, that's a terrible way of saying, hey, find a positive coping skill, you know, but it is. Hey, if you find something that you enjoy, it can take away from something, whatever that is. You can find something, you know, depending on what your needs are. I mean, if you're feeling, like, again, lonely, or why don't you find a positive thing that challenges that and shows you, no, you're not, man. You're not at all. You know, you have people that care. And again, you got the chat, you have everybody to goof off with. We are connected worldwide. So yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I love it. I do, absolutely. But I'm going to send you over. Okay. If you want to go goof off, have fun. And again, tell them that Tug sent you.